stress. We all know it, we all feel it, and all of us are becoming so familiar with it on a daily basis. But do we actually know how to recover from it in a healthy way? My name is Snežina Marinova, and I'm the founder at Our Space, which is a community for psychologists, psychotherapists, and everybody who is interested in mental health care. And today, I am joined by Inga Trускаускайте, who is a psychologist, researcher, and professor from Lithuania. She is actually going to visit us in Sofia at the end of May, and we'll hold two very interesting events that I'm very excited to invite you to and to talk with her more about today. On the 30th of May, Inga will lead us in a very interesting movement practice through the streets of Sofia called Dance Walk. And on the 31st of May, she will host a 4-hour stress recovery seminar, which will provide mental health specialists with very practical tools on how to cope with their stress and also support their clients with theirs. So I'm very excited to have Inga today as our guest and to talk to her more about the topic of burnout, boundaries, body wisdom, and everything else that comes up. And also about why sometimes the best therapy might be just to dance with a bunch of strangers in the street. So if you are a mental health professional or somebody who is just a curious human being craving to learn more about this topic, I think you will enjoy our conversation. So dear Inga, thank you for being with us. I'm very excited today. I gave a very short introduction, but I would be really glad if you can tell us more about yourself and your professional journey. You, in your experience, you do blend science and body-based therapy so naturally. Can you tell us a bit more how that happened for you? Was it something you sought out, or did it just magically happen?
Hello, everyone. Nice to be here. Hopefully you will come. You not only listen to this video or audio, but also will come to the workshops. And a little bit about myself. As life itself, my journey, my professional journey wasn't linear. I remember myself when I was a teenager, I used to like to dance very much. And I first thought that I'm going to be a dancer. But then I got excited with psychology and I was thinking, oh my God, it's so much cooler. Like as a dancer, you probably can have like a 15 years career. And as a psychologist, you can work entire life and you don't need to like retire even, because probably most of the best psychiatrists or psychotherapists or psychologists we know, they're probably like get better and better with as they progress with their career. So when I first encountered that there is such a thing as a dance and movement psychotherapy, I was immediately excited. But then the journey went like this. I became a psychologist. I became a counseling psychologist. And at the same time, I'm a little bit, started learning dance and movement psychotherapy, but it never had to do anything with the science. Like the science was one trajectory and the body-based therapy was the other trajectory. And I kind of was always like, is it possible to blend them somehow? And apparently, at some point in my career, I got into the trauma psychology and trauma research and realized that actually probably the trauma response or the traumatic stress response is more the response of the body than of the, psyche. Like the thing, how we feel it personally, it's, it's of course psychological, but why do we feel it psychologically like this? It depends on the reaction of the body or the nervous system. And this was the place where the two different, trajectories of my career just blended. And I realized that body-based therapy could be very, very, very good tool to address stress and trauma.
That's such a wonderful example of how life and career shouldn't be just linear, and you can integrate all aspects of your interest and yourself in one thing and actually create something really new and interesting, magical and helpful, and have a new perspective, which is it's so inspiring to hear that you had this journey. And now that you exactly mentioned this interest that you discovered between stress, the body, and the mind, can you tell us a little bit more about your research on the topic of stress recovery, especially your research with working with health professionals? And this will be the topic that you'll actually discuss in the second workshop on the 31st of May. Can you tell us a little bit more about what you discovered, your inspiration for this research, and with that, maybe a little bit a teaser for what the workshop will also focus on around this?
Yeah, first, probably we need to distinguish between the daily stress and like prolonged stress. And when we talk about stress recovery, we're talking about people who are, probably the stress is the part of their life. And we all experience stress, and more of us than it should be, probably we experience on the daily basis. But for example, health professionals, and we were doing mostly research on the medical nurses because they have probably the biggest workload imaginable. What we found first, that despite the fact that actually the medical professionals have a very high workload, and they actually have quite a lot of mental health issues, the coping strategies usually are not so very healthy, even though it's like health professionals. And from the research in Lithuania, but also all over the world, we know that medical staff are quite likely to use like alcohol or the medicines or even drugs sometimes to recover. And they are not so good at using some professional services from others. For example, if you're a health professional, going to the other health professional, it might look a little bit like, what, I'm not being able to cope with my life, or sometimes there is just no time, because the workloads of health professionals, and also actually psychologists and psychotherapists, not exclusive. It's so big that you don't have time to take care of yourself. So what we did, we tried to look, first of all, into literature, how to avoid stress or how to manage the reaction itself, but if you have like a stressful life in general, how to recover as quick as possible when you have this opportunity to do so. And we came up with a theory. We didn't came up. We stumbled upon the theory that was talking about the stress recovery. It wasn't really popular. I think it was Sonnentag, something. Some researcher developed this theory that never got, very much popularity. And based on this theory, which said that for the stress recovery, you need to have a proper time. You need four things. Like you have to be able to relax your body. You have to be able to detach from stressful experiences, like it's called psychological detachment. The third thing, you have to have something, in your life where you experience pleasure, but not only pleasure, but also mastery, like to be good at something outside the stressful daily life. And you have to be able to control what you're doing with your time when you actually have these sometimes minutes, sometimes hours, sometimes maybe a day. And we developed the intervention. It was like digital intervention for health professionals. We deliberately used it like a digital format because they just don't come. They just don't come to psychologists. They just don't come to the groups. You need to give something to the health professionals that they would actually use, right? And we were surprised how big the effects were. We were surprised sometimes how little intensity is needed if the intervention is very focused to the exactly things that are targeting the main problem. So right now, what we're doing, what I am doing, I'm trying as much as possible to integrate these things also into my work with clients, into my own personal life. And from time to time, I also deliver workshops around these, stress recovery strategies and how to use them most effectively. Like even the next week, I'm going to deliver a workshop in Lithuania. It's going to be a very short one, like only an hour. And in Sofia, we will have 4 hours to work on this. So excited and looking forward.
This research sounds very exciting, and also I really enjoyed, and I can imagine as a researcher it was very inspiring to see that, and as a psychologist as well as somebody that cares about people's mental health, to see that like little tiny interventions can have a massive effect, because usually we're used to maybe having to, you have to grind, you have to go to therapy and be really intense about it for a really long time. And it's so interesting that it's like tiny interventions. And from what you mentioned about these 4 pillars is as far as I understood, that they are in a way focused on maybe changing perspective as well, and also how does the body element as well come in these in these pillars?
Yeah, body is basically lives in the pillar of relaxation, like because when we say relax, we usually actually don't know what does that mean. Like to relax is literally being able to calm down your nervous system, which could be not so easy if it's overstimulated during the daily activities, right? If you just say, how many of us, how many times we had this, we lie down in bed and we want to sleep, we kind of can do it, but our body just refuses to relax, right? So we have developed and looked into what actually works to relax the body. And apparently best practices to relax the body is by using the body itself. It's wisdom. Because if you just say to yourself, well, relax already, it doesn't work. And even sometimes like changing the perspective, it works not so good. But if you actually use the resources of the body itself, if you deeply understand what does it mean to relax, and like a simple things, how to relax, it could be very effective. And I can give a little teaser. For example, how many of us know that when we exhale, our heart rate decreases a little bit, and when we inhale, our heart rate increases a little bit, just a teeny tiny bit. But if you would try to listen to your heart while breathing, you would notice that. So as simple thing as knowing that if I want to, and we know like stress response is related to the increased heart rate, right? So if we do the longer exhale than inhale, and we do it at least, 2-3 minutes, we decrease in total, we decrease our heart rate, and our body thinks, oh, your heart rate is decreasing, probably you're safe. So, and it gets into the more relaxed state. And there are many such little strategies that if you actually use them, of course, if you don't use them, they don't work. You still have to use them. But as you said, like we will thought that years and years of therapy is needed to change anything, little tiny bit things in your life. So right now, I'm absolutely thrilled and excited about the strategies who can work quick. And maybe we can, offer them to our clients, like quick working strategies. And in the therapy, not dealing with the daily, like how to survive day to day, but like dig deeper and, like address like personality issues or like traumatic responses from the childhood, instead of so long working with the preparation for the therapy, right?
Yes, exactly. And also what you mentioned is that these strategies are very, of course, human-based. And so they're supportive for both the therapist as a person dealing with very stressful situations, dealing with the specifics of this job, the loneliness of this job as well, and also taking care of me as a professional, but also having, of course, tools to support clients, which is, of course, all of us as psychotherapists. This is why we started this job. We want to help ourselves, the community, our clients, of course. And it's so great to have this little tool that actually I can learn how to use it for myself. And actually that's always, of course, the best way to then interact with and pay it forward to our clients. Okay, so very exciting. And also I really enjoy, as you mentioned, how quick the body is once it's safe enough to work with it, once we find a way to it and like support ourselves in exploring not only the mind and mental intervention, but also like the other part of us that's actually has such massive wisdom that we're yet to explore, and just speaks a little different language. Maybe not words, but maybe a little nervous system activation here, as you said, little dissociation over there, and that's its language. Okay, and so with that, it's so interesting now to go into the topic of the other event, the dance walk, which is so bodyful in its concept. Can you tell us a little bit more about the dance walk? As I can imagine, is from what you shared about yourself, it's this perfect marriage of your inner joy in a way.
Absolutely. I first encountered dance walk as I was learning as a dance and movement psychotherapist, and it was just like it wasn't offered like a therapeutic tool. It was just a fun activity for people to join and have something, have fun together, let's say. But after even the first time when I participated in this activity, I was like something clicked inside of me, like how many, like these things that are seen, are known from the science that are effective for supporting mental health are integrated in this very, very simple practice. Like from the research, we know that walking is beneficial for mental health, right? When we walk, there is even the saying, I don't know if it's, if you have a problem, you can literally walk away from it, right? When we walk, our brain gets like bilateral stimulation. And now from the science, we know that the bilateral stimulation of the brain helps to process the emotions, right? So even simple walking is beneficial for mental health. So dancing has been shown to be beneficial for mental health in many, many ways, from, sense of belonging to, interoceptive awareness of your body. And even right now we have many therapies that are dance and movement based, not just dance and movement therapy, but there are, like a bunch of therapies that use dance as therapeutic tool, because it's kind of helps to connect with yourself and maybe express the things that you wouldn't be able to express in words and in language, right? Especially if we have like pre-verbal experiences, especially traumatic pre-verbal experiences, usually we are not able to talk about them. When somebody asks us, even in the therapy, right, like something in the body locks, and dancing is a good way to unlock it gently and to provide for the body the way, or for the person to way to speak differently, not only in our normal language, not only in words. And the other thing is that dance walk offers something very, very special, which excited me most, that in my understanding, what we seek in general in therapy and in life, to be able to be like one foot inside, like checking always what's going on with myself, right? And one foot, like outside, being able to, not to dissociate or not to disconnect from the outer world, right? To be in check with both, like with inner world, what's happening inside, and with the outer world to address its challenges, but also opportunities, right? And during the dance walk, people like using the headphones, to not to hear the outer noise, right, and not to be disturbed by outer noise, so they are able a little bit more to hear themselves. If we listen, for example, for the music, automatically, even the music has the therapeutic meaning, like it addresses the emotional processing centers that cannot be addressed in any other way, seemingly. Research shows it's not, I didn't come up with that, so if you're, with your headphones, listening to the music, you're able to feel yourself a little bit more and be more mindful and more, how to say, connected with your inner world. But on the other hand, you're moving through the city with other people. You have a crossroads, you have cafes, you have surroundings, all the stuff which you cannot close your eyes and disconnect. Usually what we do, when we're when we're connecting with us, it's very normal, close your eyes, listen to yourself, and you are not able to close your eyes. You have to be always present, otherwise you can, be kicked by somebody. I think it's sort of an effortless training to be able to be one foot inside and one foot outside. And if you do that, actually, especially if you do it in the multiple times, the neural pathways develop that help to be like this, to be present with oneself and with others at the same time, simultaneously, also in the other situation, not only in the dance work itself.
This sounds great, and it's exactly what I was thinking about. What you described sounds like dance walk is a way to connect to the language of the body and speak to ourselves somehow and hear these other kinds of words through movement, through maybe our emotions, heightened state. And I was just imagining, and I'm very curious about what happens to shyness. What happens to, for example, because I can imagine somebody being so even tempted and curious, to explore myself, to feel the freedom. I can imagine that maybe such an experience brings, but what happens if I'm shy?
First of all, for those who are thinking to come to this workshop and still have doubts, there is no, you're not obliged to do anything. Simple mindful walking is enough. Walking, not automatically how we do it, normally, right? We walk automatically usually, but just mindfully walking, it works as well as, as dancing, right? But usually the group has this magic. And I've observed it for many, many times that people were starting to say, actually, we thought that we are normal, the ones who are dancing through the streets, and those who are looking at us were like weirdos. And it's a group effect. If somebody is dancing, I promise you, I'm going to dance so much, especially love dancing through the cities where I haven't been yet. So looking forward so much to see Sophia. But if somebody is dancing, you can, allow yourself to go the step, to explore the bigger variety of the movements and allow it to grow into the dance if it feels right. And if it's not, mindful walking around people together with other people, it already gives a amazing sense of community while listening also the same music, walking the same path, and knowing that, oh my God, people are looking at us, not me. People are looking at us and we're doing something amazing, because usually people not looking judgmental, what are you doing? Usually people what is going on here? Oh my God, these people are so brave. I couldn't do that. Usually people think like that, the observers. And so many times I've heard from people who participated in the dance walk workshops, they were saying like, I never thought I could do it. I never thought it's even possible. And I ended up dancing full-blown dance, like happened in the end of the day. So no pressure not to grow it into the dance. Just come, experience yourself, and maybe you will know that you will discover for yourself that, oh my God, it's my thing, totally.
And it's, I hear that also dance walk, you're touching upon something that it's a big topic, and maybe we're all experiencing this lack of community and lack of connection that maybe is kind of plaguing our day-to-day life. And I just heard in your description of your experience with the dance walk so far, that it's actually we're together, we're connected, I belong to a group, which can also in itself, as you just said, even without necessarily doing the walking, but maybe just having that intention of, wow, let's give myself 2 hours of like clear belonging, and which is, I sense in me, of course, and like it's a big topic that there's a hunger for it. So it's also so lovely that you paid attention to also this aspect of this experience. Thank you, Inga, for this conversation. It sounds so exciting, and I personally right now I'm like, oh, I want to move, I want to dance. So it kind of invigorated something in me as well, and we really look forward to meeting you in Sofia. And I just wanted to finish maybe with your hopes of how you maybe expect, or what you hope to leave people that visit both workshops here in Sofia with you. What do you hope that they take from it, or what are you most excited to give as well at these workshops?
Resilience nowadays is seen like having resources, having more resources to cope with life. And the more resources you have, the better you are in facing the challenges of this world. So I really sincerely hope that everyone who would come would take from this workshop at least a teeny tiny bit, or a big new resource, new thing, how to, like feed our own inner world into building better, bigger resilience, and be able to enjoy this life, not only suffer or like always complain that, oh my God, life's too complicated.
That sounds wonderful, and I'm very excited for these workshops. Thank you once again. I really look forward to them, and we invite everybody that got a little even inspired, or excited, or curious, or even dismissive. Even you, I think that can also be like an interesting inner challenge to maybe meet myself in a new way, in a group of people, and through a new language of maybe the body. Thank you, everyone. And we look forward to seeing you. For more information about the events, visit us at ourspace.bg and buy tickets. And we'll see you there, and look forward to meeting you.